Molweni abantwana. Goeiemôre almal. Good morning, Derryfield. For those of you who do not know, I'm the South African exchange student from Wynberg Boys High School. Coming from a country where we do not get snow apart from the high mountains very, very far away, and never experiencing temperature lower than 32 degrees Fahrenheit for only a few seconds before it jumps up to about 34, 35. This was quite an experience for me. From being a person who has never left South Africa, this has been one of the biggest challenges I've ever faced. Even on departure date, I didn't feel like I was going to be going to Boston. When I arrived, the first moment that I realized that I was here was trying to get into the car, when I almost got into the driver's seat thinking it was the passenger. After that, I thought that I was going to be able to handle this change, and I was wrong. After about 30 seconds, I almost had a heart attack, thinking we were going to drive into the oncoming traffic. After getting home and not dying of any heart attacks or any organ failures, I got my first taste of American culture by going to the Red Arrow. The next day was school. This was by far one of the most interesting moments of my life. From coming from a school where all lessons are half an hour long, this was a challenge. My first lesson at Derryfield was with Mr. Bradley, and he interrogated me quite profusely on what South Africa was like and what type of exotic meats I ate. But apart from that, the rest of the day went on fine. My next challenge was overcoming the language barrier, which was shown to me thanks to Robbie when he, in my STEM class by Robbie, when he started to ask me what I said differently. For example, for me, a biscuit is a cookie. No, not a cookie is a biscuit, and a cupcake's a cookie. My other challenge was coming from South Africa, where in most of my sentences I spoke Afrikaans while speaking English, and I had a lot of slang words that I needed to overcome when I came here. The next thing on my list was schoolwork. At home, I've got a policy where I do not do homework, and coming to this school where I have to do homework, it was a challenge. Once the suffering of getting over doing homework was done, I got the privilege of going skiing, which has now become one of my favorite sports. After the NRK break, I thought that I was going to get used to my life here at Derryfield, and then I was thrown another curveball, Winter Carnival. At Wynberg, as I explained to some of my friends, it's like a free prison where it's got structure yet freedom. And Winter Carnival was exactly the opposite. But after all the craziness, I've grown to miss Winter Carnival. As things started to calm down, I felt more at home, apart from the free periods and academic block. After being toured around sections of New Hampshire and other cities, I feel like I've got a sliver of what America is like, and I feel that Derryfield is my home away from home. I would like to thank my host family, the Kelsey's, for hosting me and touring me around the school, Manchester, Boston, and New York. It's been some of my best times here in America, and finding out that city life is definitely not the place for me. To all the teachers who took the time to make me feel welcome at the school, I'd like to thank my advisee and my fellow advisors for all the great times we've had together. To all my subject teachers for helping me in the subjects and marking my test no matter what I wrote. And to the squad in maths class, thanks for all the good times and laughs, no matter how ridiculous it got. To my STEM class and pre-STEM class, thanks for all the discussions and arguments we've had, even though Biltong is the best. Finally, I'd like to thank Ms. Grodman and Dr. Carter for making this exchange possible. I'd like to ask Dr. Carter to come up onto stage to receive this gift as a thank you from me to the school. I'm going to do that. On the gift, it has a quote from one of our most famous presidents, Nelson Mandela, which I'd like to leave you with. It says, "Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world." Thank you, Super Morris.